Galleria Mall.
Wow, that's a huge escalation, even with everything else going on.
Right.
Were there any casualties?
Report doesn't say.
Okay.
Witnesses said the suspect was dressed as Santa Claus.
Santa Claus?
Yeah.
At a bombing.
It's like they're mocking innocence.
Trying to heal from this horrific crime. A survivor.
That's the power of... You come out on the other side?
Yeah.
It gives you hope.
Exactly. This isn't some random email. This is the person who, like, schedules our recordings.
Handles the sponsorships, make sure the microphones are working, yeah. Okay, so we've got a mysterious fact. What does it say?
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. So, apparently there's been a suspicious character lurking around the studio.
Lurking? Like what? In a trench coat and sunglasses?
Well, not exactly. They describe him as a clown.
A clown.
Yeah, a clown. Black and white makeup, the whole bit. And they even advised against, like, grabbing drinks together after recording.
So no more team bonding. Come on, that's our favorite part.
It's like they're anticipating something might happen outside the studio.
As if someone might be watching, waiting for a moment of vulnerability.
It's Christmas time, and there's nothing to fear, except for the clown who might just appear. It's a terrifying Christmas, full of blood and cheer. But the clown spreading terror, bringing screams.
If you don't pass the rice, I'm not gonna leave. Please, pass the rice. Sienna. Hello, Sienna? You know, I'm dead because of you, okay? You led us to him, you and that little shithead brother of yours. I'm dead. And you killed me. I mean, no amount of medication is gonna stop me from being here in front of you. You killed me. The least you can do is pass the rice. 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 Pass the rice.
Even with the movie itself, Damien left unfinished business on the table in regards to the Terrifier storyline. With intentions of translating the film to readable literature, a commission by Cineverse would be given to Tim Wagner. In 2022, the empty space between Terrifier 1 and its sequel would be put to paper, peeling back the layers of trauma in Miles County and the effects on Sienna and Jonathan personally. It's written that as the fear envelops the town, a sense of dread grows over Miles County. Sienna speaks on this state of fear being a source for Art's demonic power. The book would form a critical role to the fandom. However, this would actually be a second adaptation for the Terrifier, as in 2019, a comic book series was also made expanding on the lore. It would also ironically be written by a different Tim named Tim Seeley. With the Terrifier 2 furthering its fandom it received from the prior movie, once again Leone found himself wanting to set a new threshold of gore and debaucherous violence to attain to.
Stop the camera!
After creating a hard-boiled storyline for the Terrifier 2 and seeing the success of his work, it was obvious to bring Lauren Lavera back as Sienna and Elliot Fulham as Jonathan. Which, well, it wouldn't be difficult, as funding would be far from limited this time, leading to a bankroll of 2 million macaronis for the budget. And with that, Damien went to work.
outside and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Let's go, let's look at the show. We're riding in a wonderland of snow. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. It's grand just holding your hand. We're gliding along with the song of a wintry fairyland. Our cheeks are nice and rosy and comfy cozy are we. We're snuggled up together like two birds of a feather would be. Let's take that road before us and sing a chorus or two. Come on.
It's a terrifying Christmas.
Well, as it turns out, debaucherous violence would prove to be an understatement, as the movie featured deaths of children, terrorist attacks, satanic sexual acts, and a general over-the-top gritty use of practical effects. Just what the fandom ordered. It even topped its 2-minute-and-a-half torture scene from the prior movie. The kills were disturbingly creative, and the blood was plentiful, appeasing many slasher fans worldwide and upsetting discerning critics globally. The very first scene has us witnessing a distressed little girl awaking in the night, hearing strange noises on Christmas. After her parents tell her tales of Santa rushing her to bed, Art recedes from the shadows and takes on the cliché role of axe murderer, and well, he deletes the entire family. The intro closes with Art revealing the little girl hiding in the cabinet. What happens next is only implied.
Because of the implication.
Damien even makes a slight nod to one of my all-time favorite movies, The Shining. The event cross-dissolved into a scene that happened 5 years prior as we witness an officer investigating an abandoned building. The same building where Art and Sienna's standoff originally occurred.
Wow.
He approaches Art's body laying sprawled where he was previously slain. Noted the blood is still fresh, indicating a closely knit timeline to the event. As he stares into the abyss that Sienna was once thrown, he is then strangled to death by Art's reanimated body.
Come on, man.
Furthering the atmosphere that was described in the novel, we see a sharp focus on Sienna's presumed mental instability.
Everything all right? Yeah.
With the body of Art never being officially located, after the events that took place, Sienna found herself in a mental hospital soon to be released.
So do we run or?
Gotta sign out first.
The film makes various examples to reaffirm the idea that both Sienna and Jonathan are struggling to keep their grip on reality. Christmas would come earlier for the Terrifier, as Art the Clown would be slashing through their town merrily with a duffel bag full of torture toys, innovating fresh new ways to violently distort people of their own semblance.
What the hell is even that?
This is not before he's reunited with an essential character from the first film. I may have said the first entry lacks story, and while I still stand by that statement, there's an exception I'll put in place for Victoria Hayes. He plays a pivotal role in the series, being embodied by the same dark forces that empower Art. Her story begins as a small-town college girl partying on a festive Halloween night. In a lineage of heinous murders, Victoria finds herself stalked and tricked into a trap. After no one is left, she remains the final girl. She is stabbed, cut, beaten, and hit by a Chevy pickup truck. However, in final girl fashion, her heart remains beating, and in typical slasher fashion, Art isn't finished either. He then proceeds to create a true, distinguished work of utter nightmare fuel.
Thanks again for everything, Doctor. You'll be in our prayers.
Please, don't mention it. We're all gonna miss this one. She's been so cooperative. Makes everyone laugh. Important to stay positive, right?
Absolutely. Good spirits.
She'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, take care of yourself, Victoria. I'll see you in a couple of months.
Thank you. What do you say, kiddo? You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, and good luck with your interview tomorrow.
Damn!
Following her miraculous survival, she's invited to talk in an up-and-coming TV show to speak on her traumatic experiences. Through a Stockholm Syndrome-like possession, Victoria Hayes then mauls the TV reporter, landing herself in a local loony bin. One late night, she's seen smearing her bloody baby jelly all over her cell and then proceeds to give birth to Art's severed head. But Damien, being the sneaky he is, he put this scene post-credits of Terrifier 2. However, in the beginning of Terrifier 3, Art breaks her out of this institution that was containing her. Finally reuniting him with his severed head, Victoria and Art recede to an abandoned house to slumber until terror would rise again. And rise again it did. Years later, Sienna would then be released from her hospital, which is where the story truly begins. With her mother murdered by the Terrifier, all she would have was Jonathan and her immediate family. Her family home is now resided by her Aunt Jess, her niece Gabby, and Gabby's stepfather Greg. Jonathan now attends college in pursuit of not just his education, but moving on with his life in general. Across town, when bumbling inspectors stumble upon Victoria and Art's bodies, they awaken the devil, releasing them from the eternal slumber they slept in. The chaos begins to boil, as with Sienna alive, the demonic entity is vulnerable. We learn by a powerful force of good versus evil, she has been chosen to defend the mortal world.
But you can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrifice?
As Art continues his murderous rampage around town, the majority of it would go unknowingly unnoticed by Sienna, as she clings her sanity to a fragile world. Eventually, there would be one particular event where Sienna would take notice, involving explosions and children. Aside from sickening the protagonist Sienna, it would also churn the stomachs of moviegoers, having reportedly people walking out mid-premiere. Damien Leone aimed to shock the viewer and accomplished his goal to outdo himself once again. Even the practical effects were not for the faint of heart, as Art uses chainsaws, hammers, knives, and experiments with liquid nitrogen to shatter his victims into shards of meat and bone.
Ice cold!
In this third entry, Leone created a jolly zeitgeist of kills under the mistletoe with this heavy hitter of a slasher film. When Sienna is finally aware of Art's doings, she immediately calls for Jonathan to be by her side.
Did you get it? Yeah, I got it.
However, it would be proven that it's too late.
See you soon. Love you.
The same night, Sienna is awoken to the sound of voices from the kitchen below. She hears Greg disparagingly speak about her.
Go kill yourself. Nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. You would be better off dead. Just go kill yourself.
But as the distance between the voices and Sienna decreases, it slowly turns sinister.
Sienna to hear us.
Oh, I don't give a if she hears us or not. As a matter of fact, you know what I think we should do to Sienna? I think we should go upstairs and smother her in her sleep.
Rounding a corner, she's greeted by Victoria, with her face looking more mutilated than ever, and Art miming his enthusiasm in front of a dissected Greg who's nailed to the wall. Sienna attempts to run, but Art's mallet appears to be faster, clearly knocking the wind out of her and knocking the lights out of her cranium. Just like in the original film, Art ties Sienna up and he forces her to witness torturous atrocities.
Oh my god. I am never gonna recover from this.
The following scenes, I'm not even sure I'm allowed to describe, but I'll do it anyway.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Art and Victoria's sick minds join forces as Art hammers a glass tube down Aunt Jess's throat. He takes inspiration from the Dutch Revolt, utilizing a classic tactic of corralling rats with fire, sending them down the tube one by one into Aunt Jess's esophagus. The rats are then freed when Victoria deeply lacerates her throat open with the kitchen knife, all in front of Sienna. The next moment furthered the lore as Victoria makes a failed attempt at possessing Sienna.
Everything you love is gone! There is no hope! There is no God! You're ugly, you are disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me your soul.
When realizing her strength, she decides to up the ante. Next on the menu was her little niece Gabby, the final piece of the puzzle to breaking Sienna's will to survive.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
Before they meet their ultimate demise, Gabby asks if Sienna can open her present.
You rap with yourself. Shitty job.
In a Yuletide gesture, the request is entertained. However, that little nosy was reading Sienna's journal even after being warned multiple times.
How much of it did you read? All of it.
Regardless, that repetitive brown-nosing paid off, but more on that later, as while the offer to open a present may have came with Yuletide cheer, but it also came with great pain. As Art smashes Sienna's hands into ketchup and pulverized Oscar Mayer weenies.
Here. Oh, take my hand. Ah!
Inside the present was an item forged from the pits of hell, the sword. And if it weren't for Gabby's repetitive brown-nosing, she wouldn't have known the importance of the sword and its connection with Sienna. With the symbiotic healing from the sword, Sienna's wounds were recovering rapidly, allowing her to take charge of the situation.
Best gift ever.
Things take a dramatic turn as Sienna slices down Art, frees herself from the chair, and decapitates Victoria by the light of the Christmas tree. Severed heads aside, the chaotic battle of Chainsaw versus Angelic Sword ensues, as the Terrifier Christmas is far from over. When Sienna finally catches Art in a missed swing, she pierces through his heart, sticking him to the wall. Twisting and turning the blade, we then see the blood of Victoria open a portal to presumably hell, trying to swallow Gabby with it. And Sienna then has a decision to make: let Gabby fall or bring Art the Clown's reign of terror to an end. When Sienna chooses Gabby, she extends the sword out, losing grip of not only Gabby but the sword also, losing Gabby and returning the sword from where it once came. To add insult to injury, she turns to notice Art is also gone, even after sustaining substantial injuries. With this entry, it was clear Damien was going all out, even getting Tom Savini's expertise on practical effects, along with including him as a cameo in the movie.
I was pretty damn close. Too close for my life.
Aside from surpassing all the benchmarks set by the sequel, Terrifier 3 achieved a remarkable high of over 886 theaters.
Oh my god.
Not including roadshows and festivals. With the origin of the series being showcased at a film festival, Damien Leone was determined not to forget his indie horror roots and the franchise's beginnings. The first feature of Terrifier 3 would premiere at Fantastic Fest in 2024, promising to traumatize the viewers just as the original did at the 2016 Telluride Horror Show. The same sense of terror creeped its way into the theaters the following month. Yet again, Damien struck gold thrice, with Terrifier 3 bringing in over 59 million crispy greenbacks on a $2 million budget. That's a 2,850% gain. Currently, as I write this, the movie will continue to make more and be shown in even more theaters. With all those chicken tendies, it's a roll of the dice what Damien will do next. But that really only leaves one thing left. What does Dr. Cat think about the Terrifier series? I think it's a morbidly clever take on what slashers can provide. I think it takes the disgust in body horror to new echelons of distraught. I think it tells a journey of a tumultuous saga from horror festivals to asserting its permanence on a silver screen.
We don't want to let the fans down.
To take a monster who doesn't speak and give it personality, well, it takes a specific kind of talent. Humanizing the absence of communication through overly emotive emotions, it plays with our already pre-prescribed fears of not being able to make out someone's face.
I agree.
The film deserves more praise for its ability to convey brutality that's not only unrelenting, but unforgiving.
Guys, this is just too much fun.
In my opinion, Art the Clown deserves to be at the table with all the other killers from horror history, fitting with the greats. So if you ever hear someone mention that a monster from Stephen King's It is scary, give him a hard slap in the face. and take them on down to the Clown Cafe. Tell them Art the Clown sent you.
Drop on by the Clown Cafe, your favorite meals on wheels. The menu is disgusting and it's full of special deals. Nothing here is good for you, so grab yourself a tray, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.